Hello and welcome to another tutorial session here from Way Studios, and I'm Olabi Akon as usual. And don't get too scared, this is still a tutorial on 3ds Max, but this time we're going to pick up a full project as a regular one, and it's going to be in sessions, and we're obviously going to show you how to work your plan from a 2D Autocad drawing this way into 3D Max. We do all the modeling. We're just going to clean up this model for export into 3ds Max. Okay, right now we have this is my regular interface from AutoCAD. I have this design here, this very simple design from a friend of mine, and this is just a simple apartment building. It's just two floors, the ground floor and the top floor, with the roof design, and we have the elevations, the front, side, left and right elevations with the two plans for the two different floors with our roof plan. And as you can see, many a times what you often get is from architects, if you are asked to get a project done, most times if you have to work on a project, what you get is this to the AutoCAD drawing. And most people actually have had a lot of questions on how do I model, where do I model, if I don't do it in Revit, if I don't do it in SketchUp, if I don't do it on other occasions. I think for me it's much easier for me to create my 3Ds in Max. Well, of course, if I'm giving drawings like this, if I have to create my own drawings from scratch, I think I work with Revit, which is a very much parametric style of drafting with modeling integrated together. Then you can just draft, and as you draft you have your models out just the same way. But from AutoCAD now, you have to, if you are not modeling, you'd have to eventually get your drawings out first, then you now build your 3D model. What I now do is I prepare my model for my drawings, my 2D drawings, for export in 3ds Max. So what I do is I just pick up the plan, I clean it up, I get rid of the text, I get rid of unnecessary lines, unnecessary layers that I don't need. Like, I don't need the stairs looking like this. Well, maybe I might need the stairs to, at least if I have to create the interior space. So all I just need is the wall, the windows, the doors, and my walls, of course, then the stair area. Then when I do that, I do a cleanup, and what I have is I have this this is actually cleaned up, saved out to a different file. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to export this. I'm going to import this into the Max from DWG directly into the 3ds Max. Then we'll start off from there. Okay, here I am now in my 3D Max interface. What I'm going to do now is import my AutoCAD file, the plans, which I actually saved separately into a different file. So what I'm going to do now is import it, import my, then you get this dialog which says you need a couple of parameters to set up yourself. I would recommend, because right here in this part of our country with in architecture we work with millimeters, so I would rather you we work with the metric setup, then metric scaling units. Then I set it up as millimeters. If you have a very large scale site, I'd recommend you come in with meters, which is still very good, and due to our metric system, it actually helps scaling in your object, in your scene. Okay, now I'll ask, if this is not checked, I always check this, so it rescales it to fit perfectly, so that we get the actual dimensions from our drawings straight into our 3ds Max viewport, and we can work with it that way, and it's much easier for us inputting figures and dimensions and all that. So what other thing I'll do is I think I'll just leave the rest as they are. You could as well just choose to put them in layer blocks, but most times I just leave it as it is and I check OK. Right now I have the plans in my viewport, and as you can see, we have it cleaned up as I've done, and we have the walls with the windows and the doors and the stair area. Why I basically most times clean it up and don't allow for that area of the text, because text, all these shapes and splines, they actually take up viewports, clog the viewport and make it a little bit more cumbersome to navigate. You can see this is quite easy to navigate in, and most times I actually do get rid of them. Once I'm done with them, then I can as well just select them all, then put them, create a selection set for them. Why I would have done it this way, put them in a layer, but I wouldn't want to lose the color for each, the color in which the layer color for each of them. So what I'll do is I'll just select it and put it in a selection set. How to create a selection set? You can actually come here to create a selection set, or select your object, then come in here and type in with the objects you want put in that selection. Just type the name you want to give them. Card drawings. I want to give it card drawings. I always put an underscore. Card drawings. Then I press my enter, return key, enter. So that way it is saved in a selection set which you see in card drawing. So all the layers here, if you want to isolate them, get rid of them, or hide them or something, you can always just come here and select, or you can just click this drop down and select. Equally, if you have more objects, you can equally just, let's say we have our box, we have our teapot, it's an icon for 3S Max. Then we have several other objects, and you can as well just select them and still create a selection set for them, and you say objects, and you can see you can choose from what selection set you have. And this selection set is actually a great way of grouping your objects if you don't want to throw them in groups, and giving them a category and categorizing them into different sets actually. And I can just come here and say select my objects. I can say select this, so that is that. And I can as well just say okay, I want to get rid of objects now, then I can delete them off. Then of course it takes the whole selection set out of my selection set, and I just have this one which is in there. So right now what I'm going to do is first of all I'm going to take one option, which is the AEC, the native of Max, which you can actually use to get out your walls and parametrically place your doors and your windows, which is a very, very strong one. But as well would show you another method which I use splines. There are 1,000,001 ways you could get it done. It's just about understanding what Max can do and how to work it in. So I'll show you a couple of options here, and whichever one you deem fit and you say, oh, I think I'm comfortable with this, then you can as well just go with that. But we'll start with the AEC and we'll work from there.